Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Headline edition will bring you special reports and interviews in a moment.
How you doing? This is the Guy from Pittsburgh, and I have been doing videos because I've been dealing with something more insidious than green slime, more insidious than the Blob, more dangerous than Godzilla. I've been dealing with mildew and evil bankers, and I'll discuss that in the next video right after this. But it's something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. But anyway, I got some new stuff. I left something in the car. Oh God, I gotta scrub out the car tomorrow. It's got mildew. We carried stuff in my mother's apartment, and everything in her apartment had mildew, and we didn't know it. Got some new books. My cats just sleep and eat and go outside, so they're not gonna make any money. But this is how to make your cat an internet celebrity. So it's a kind of a cute book. Got pictures and what to do with your cats, and how to do stuff. This is Patricia Carlin, so it's kind of cute. I couldn't resist it. Picked this up. Classic book, the Hynek, J. Allen Hynek UFO report. His experiences with Project Blue Book and elsewhere. Season 1 of UFO Hunters, and that's what I'm going to be talking tonight about. This book. I haven't read it yet, just got it. Strong Enough for Two by Dr. Jim Mastrix and built with Bill Burns, about codependent people, adult children of alcoholics, which I am, and I would assume this is toxic parents too. I know Bill's written one about that, I think. And this thing, which I needed and got, iMovie 11, which Apple has totally screwed up. So anyway, I've been watching UFO Hunters. I've sat and over the period of days while I was scrubbing stuff down and throwing stuff out, it was polluted with mildew, including my bags, my beloved bag for my MacBook, my earlier Snow Eye book, and my Clamshell Eye book. That got mildewed. It was in our car. The car's got mildew in it. We'll get that done. Had that bag for 10 years. It was blue. It matched my Clamshell Eye book. I'm going to miss it a lot. And we brought in plastic cubes with drawers. They were mildewed. My pants fell on the damn thing. I didn't know it. Picked the pants up. My pants were mildewed. Had to throw the pants out. Had to throw those canvas bags you take to the store. Mildew gets in any fabric. Don't even bother to wash it. Throw it out. Buy another one, because it does something horrible to the fabric. Had the pants in the shower, on the shower chair, thinking, well, I'll wash them. And that mildew started to spread all over the shower, so I had to pour bleach. Bleach will kill mildew. Vinegar will kill mildew to a certain extent. And there are mildew cleaners. But it's a horrible, nasty smelling stuff. And if you get it in your house, you're in deep trouble, because it spreads like wildfire. I've seen videos and stories about mansions being abandoned because they get mold and mildew in the walls, and it's so pervasive they can't repair it. They just abandon the mansions. And mildews and mold have little spores. They look like black streaks or little black dots. All the paper, my mother had mildew in it. That's how my bag got mildewed. The photographs in her house had mildew. They're out there. The only cure for that is to, I use the term, soak them in baking soda and dry cat litter for about a week, and it absorbs all the moisture out of the photographs, and then you have to try to burn them to a CD, get them copied, and you throw away the originals. The originals are useless because they're permeated with mildew. But my niece wants the photographs of the family, my grandmother, her grandfather, my grandfather, my sister's father in the first marriage, and all that. So, and the insurance paperwork, which is another nightmare. But anyway, one of the episodes on here is on disc 1, the UFO at before Roswell. And Bill Burns and the other two guys on his show went out to Washington to investigate Maury Island. Well, in 2000, they did this in 2008. And in 2010, it came out that Maury Island was a hoax. Well, I have some questions about that. I think there may have been hoax elements to Maury Island, but I don't think the whole thing was hoax, and here's why. Now, if you look on the screen of my iPad may be polluted too, which is another entire. I had my iPad, my MacBook. Well, you can't see that. It says Maury Island, Wikipedia, Maury Island incident before Roswell. Maury Island incident, weird U.S. How stuff works, the Maury Island UFO incident. Maury Island UFO crash 1947. UFOs and aliens about.com. All debunking Maury Island for one reason or another, saying it's a hoax, a fraud. The UFO iconoclast, Maury Island now no longer a mystery. And there's a movie out, the Maury Island incident, about Harold Dahl alleged a UFO sighting over Puget Sound on June 21st, 1947. Now, I haven't seen this movie yet. It was at 2 film festivals. But questions I had that really weren't followed up in the UFO Hunters episode. They mentioned that the dog tags, the plane was brought, B-25. Military officials interviewed Dahl and Chrisman. Dahl's family later said Chrisman was a con man, yet he's not around to defend himself. And one of the two guys, I can't remember if it was Chrisman or Dahl, said to his dying day that it wasn't a hoax, that it happened. And they even mentioned in the episode that pressure was brought on the guy to recant his story to say it was a hoax, and he said it was a hoax in 2010, or recently, before he died. And yet, we know military intelligence people showed up, they got on the plane, and they died. The plane crashed. Now, I had a friend of mine who's got a degree in chemical engineering, was an electronics expert in the Navy, and there were parts supposedly picked up from Maury Island of the UFO that crashed, and the slag that supposedly came down from the UFO, And as we saw in Roswell, the Air Force would not dispatch a plane on a hoax. They wouldn't bring a B-25, have a whole crew, send military intelligence experts out just for fun, just to give the guys a ride from Hamilton Field, which is just across the bay over there, about 50 miles from me. No longer an air base, but it was in 1947. All the way to Puget Sound, which is somewhere around Seattle. It's up there with all the water and the lakes and the inlets and all that stuff. They wouldn't send a plane hundreds of miles for a hoax. They wouldn't load a plane up with hoax parts and hoax slag. And my friend thinks that the only thing that could have caused the massive fire that occurred in the plane that led to its crash, and all but 2 of the people dying, and 2 guys jumped out, and they said the plane was so on fire, and the fire raged so quickly they couldn't put it out. And he said the only thing with magnesium, which supposedly was in this slag, if it put out hydrogen, and a spark from the circuitry, which was mentioned in the UFO Hunters episode, set off the hydrogen. and set off a hydrogen fire. He said magnesium doesn't burn by itself. It doesn't spontaneously combust. So there's something going on there. And I don't understand the diver guy in UFO Hunters. What the hell he was doing. If this thing was supposedly on a boat, and the guy was on a boat, and the boat was out in the middle of Puget Sound, and 6 UFOs appear, and one puts out this slag, and it was burning, and the center UFO began, I'm quoting here, spitting out hot metallic material from its center hole. A lot of stuff fell on the boat, damaging it. Some fell on the dog, killing it. One piece burned Dahl's arm. Now, Dahl's son's arm, Dahl's son said he wasn't burned, or Dahl's sister said he wasn't burned in recent years. No mention about the dog. And yet, why weren't the UFO hunters going out where the boat was, supposedly? Not by the shoreline. I lived in San Francisco for many years. You don't go down to the marina to look for the boat. You go out where the boat is. And the other strange thing. This guy's crash, the 2 pilots died. Intelligence experts died. And Dahl or Chrisman, I can't remember which, said he was pressured to recant his story. Were there other intelligence experts that showed up? Could they have been men in black? Who knows? But the dog tags of the 2 pilots weren't given back to the Army Air Force. They weren't given to military intelligence. They were given to Kenneth Arnold, who a short time later sighted UFOs of his own over Washington and coined the phrase, "They look like skipping saucers," something in that order, which led to the phrase flying saucers. Now, Arnold, Dahl, Chrisman were associated with Ray Palmer of Amazing Magazine, who was into the paranormal, the weird, had the whole Darrow story, which is a whole nother animal. Got him lots of circulation until his publishers said enough is enough, this is all fraud. But it's not normal to give someone who's not the next of kin the dog tags. And the UFO hunters should have gone to some paperwork, put a FOA, Freedom of Information Act request, if possible, if it's not still held secret after all these years, saying who issued the order to give him the dog tags? And who issued the order to send this plane in the first place? Who issued the order to pick up the parts, supposedly, from the crashed UFO? Because there were UFO parts. So this is what I'm asking. Here's the thing. Dahl received a visit from a man in a dark suit who told him he had seen something he wasn't supposed to and warned him not to discuss it with anyone. Sounds familiar. Sounds like Men in Black to me. Chrisman took a boat out to the spot on Maury Island, found tons of debris, saw one of the objects appear overhead, and Arnold said he needed some help, so he got United Airlines Captain E.J. Smith. Smith and Arnold flew up to Tacoma and met with Dahl and Chrisman. So if there were tons of this stuff around the area, then some of it ought to still be out there. The Air Force probably, if it's in water, didn't get everything. Hell, they can't find that plane, Malaysian airline plane, even though they found most of Flight 800, and we know what happened to it, and it wasn't no damn fuel tank. So those are the questions I have. If it's a hoax, why did the Air Force send a plane up there? Why did intelligence officers pick up stuff? How do you pick up stuff when it's a hoax? Now here's the thing. Brown and Davidson, the 2 intelligence officers, told... Oh no. Hold on. Getting a little behind my story here. They told intelligence officers they felt it was a hoax. They hadn't told Arnold. They didn't want to embarrass him. He was so taken in by Dahl and Chrisman. The next morning, they all boarded the B-25. A few hours later, it crashed. You don't send up a B-25 for hoax parts, for hoax slag, and it had both on the plane, supposedly. Of course, we'll never know if this is true or not, but could the hoax story be disinformation itself? That's the question I have. And unfortunately, UFO Hunters was driven off the air because they got too close to the truth. Bill Burns has alluded to it, and give me a minute. I saw this a minute ago. And hello, Bill. Hello, Brigitta, my sister. Hello, Jimmy, my nephew who watches my stuff. And hello, all my relatives. Heidi, Teresa, Maria, Bobby, Sarah, my grandnephew, Max, whom I love. And here it is. Bill Burns, 2010. Why was UFO Hunters pulled from the TV? The Dulce episode got the show canceled. Strange cow fetuses with human-shaped heads. The producers deliberated over showing. Bill said it set people in many high places. And the Human-Animal Hybrid Prohibition Act was introduced mid-2009, a few months after this episode aired. So, tell me, the #1 show on the History Channel, they cancel it. I think these guys got too close to the truth, and that's why it was canceled. And instead, what are we seeing? Some bald guy with his family with speakers and bales of hay. This is a new groundbreaking, earth-shattering show the History Channel is putting out. Like Stuffed Duck Dynasty, Hillbilly Hand Fishers, Hollywood hillbillies. They're on this hillbilly kick. I'm surprised Buddy Ebsen doesn't come back from the grave and kick their asses. So, these guys got some hits, some misses. I wish they were back on the air. And if Bill and Nancy Burns are listening, hi there. When's the magazine going to come out? Maybe Bill can answer those questions. Or Nancy. It'd be nice to see Nancy in a video. Nobody ever talks to her. And they got that Future Theater on the Art Bell Dark Matter Radio Network. And free Art Bell. And hello, Art Bell. I missed your birthday. I'm sorry. I would have mentioned it, but I was too busy. So happy belated birthday. But people criticize Nancy for talking too much. Hell, for 3 years she's sitting in her house in Pennsylvania while Bill's out in the road searching for UFOs. And I still am amused that 3 years we never saw a UFO. They were hunting them. They weren't hunting them with a big net, I'll tell you that. Not their fault, but it would have been nice if the UFO guys had cooperated a little and, flew over just one episode. Hey, we're here. We know you're looking for us. So, leave Nancy Burns alone. She's a sweetheart. Quit criticizing her talking and yakking. She's had to be quiet for 3 years, put in a magazine that you all loved. And the publisher, I don't believe in digital. So he took the rights to their magazine away from them, and I think that's horrible. The #1 magazine in the field. It's done more work to spread ufology than anything in recent years. And they got no magazine anymore. And that's not right. And she's selling the back issues for like $10 to $30 a piece. Once those are gone, that's it. So you can look on futuretheater.com, and I think there's a thing for UFO magazine too. I saw something on my iPad today. So go check that out if you're into UFOs like I am. Behind me are all my dummies books and my Mac missing manual books and my Go camera. And I haven't obviously finished this room because I've been too busy throwing out stuff polluted with mildew. So, this is the guy from Pittsburgh. I'll get on my horse here. And I'll catch you next time. Have a great weekend, and I'll do another video in a few minutes. Bye-bye.